Hello, how are you doing today? This is your host, Ferrante Frazier, with another episode of Naturalist F. We first want to thank everyone who is tuning in, everyone who share, continue to share our natural health platform on how to heal your body is Naturalist F. Now, we also want to thank the All Things Relevant Media platform for allowing us to air this show every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Now, also, we want you to go to the All Things Relevant Media, Black Media Facebook page right now and hit like and share. It's a whole host of different shows that is relevant to our day and time for us to create a better world in which we're living in. So make sure you go there, and not only there, you can go to YouTube as well. All Things Relevant Black Media on YouTube. Hit like, share, and follow. Make sure you share it with your friends and family, though. Everyone, you might not even need the information that right now, but I'm pretty sure we have something that is relevant to your life right now on that platform. But make sure that you go there, and if you don't want to do anything right now, share it with other people because other people could be looking for the treasures that you have hidden in your storehouse. And this is definitely a gem that need to be shared. Hey, we got an excellent show today. Not going to prolong on talking about that. You just want to go ahead and make sure that you go and like the page. But we got an excellent show. Everything that we talk about here is all natural. There, really don't have to give any type of disclaimer because we don't talk about anything. We don't prescribe anything to nobody. We don't call ourselves curing disease. We believe that the body does all the work of healing. All we talk is about lifestyle changes. You know, a guy who teaches exercise don't have to get up there and say, "Well, I'm not a medical doctor" and all this type of stuff. I'm not a medical doctor. You're not. You didn't come here for no medical advice. You go to your medical doctor for that. You know, I'm not a herbal doctor. So you go to naturopathics and different chiropractors and those sort of doctors for that type of treatment and remedies. Here, this is only education. This is education on how to live in such a way where you can avoid the medicine man, avoid the chiropractors and the acupuncturists and all those other modalities that treat and cure disease or treat and cure your symptoms. Because they do nothing for disease because none of them believe that they can cure your diseases. But they tell you they can conveniently palliate and suppress your symptoms that you're having. You go to them saying, "Hey, I got this issue. I got this issue." You go complaining not about disease. You don't go to the doctor and say, "Hey, doctor, I got lupus." No. You go to him and say, "I've been having bone issues. Well, you don't even say bone issues. You say, "I've been having the pain in my bones and in my muscle. I have general fatigue and weakness and different things." And he said, "Oh, you got lupus." You go to your doctor complaining about symptoms. You go to him complaining about, different effects that your body are going through. And he conveniently comes up with a name after he categorized your symptoms. When he put your symptoms together, then he give a name. You know, if you're sneezing, and if you're only sneezing, he's going to say, "Oh, you got sinus problem." If you're sneezing and coughing, "Oh, you got a cold." If you're sneezing, coughing, and sweating and fatigue, you got the flu. If you got all those symptoms that I just said, plus you got fluid built up on the lung, you got pneumonia. If it comes with diarrhea and all this other stuff, who knows what he might say that you have. So the more symptoms, the the different name of the so-called disease. But that's not our topic for today. But in talking about our topic, we must hit on one of the principles of natural hygiene. Natural hygiene is the science that we teach, and this is what we've been teaching since we started this show, Natural is F, because we teach natural hygiene. That's where the naturalness come from, and natural as F. Natural hygiene is the most naturalist way of allowing your body to heal. You know, it doesn't employ no type of voodoo. It's unadulterated. It shows no type of magic in there or anything like that. It just moves away the toxic substance, the toxic practice, the toxic environment, and allow the body to do what it can't do in such of a toxic condition. So it's the natural way to heal. It removes out all the poisons. Right? Now, natural hygiene is just a way of life. It's not really even a modality, a practice, or anything like that. It's a way that man should be living. It's like, you know, the best way to grow roses, the ideal way to grow roses, the most natural way to grow it without chemical fertilizer, and still that rose grow to be a beautiful flower. So it's an ideal way that nature knows how to grow the best flower. But you have to find the nature way to grow roses in the best way for that nature will produce the best rose. Same thing with every other flower. And the same thing with man. We have to find the best way to put man in for man to grow ideally without suffering the diseases that mankind suffer from. Now, we can't think it's ideal for man to eat on cheeseburgers and hot dogs. They eat chicken wings and fried fish and all the other substances that we throw down our throat, our snow crab legs, our low country balls, and all the other so-called foods, the chips and the honey buns and the knickknacks and the paddywhacks. All those things we can't believe is ideal to grow the best rose. All right, and when you're a rose, but nevertheless, we got to talk on this concept of energy when we're talking about this subject that we're going to be talking about today about insomnia. And we believe that in natural hygiene that there is only one disease. Remember how I just talked about all these different symptoms, and the more symptoms, that's when the doctor give a different name to disease. Well, we just believe that there's one disease that, depending on the amount of that disease, or the body will manifest more and more symptoms. It's like it needs more avenues in which to free itself of waste. So it'll sneeze out some, it'll cough out some, it'll send some out through the lungs. It's going to send it out through the skin. It's going to send it out through the bowels really vigorously. So that's when we're going to see the diarrhea. That's when we're going to see the pneumonia. That's when we're going to see the skin eruptions. We're going to see all these different avenues of elimination. Now, well, what's that one disease? Well, toxemia, poison blood. When poisons build up in your body and blood tissues and stuff, those toxins can't be tolerated. To tolerate it takes you into a very serious problem, such as a chronic issue, where you also building tumors and cysts and polyps and other so-called poisonous capsules. But the body doesn't tolerate poisons, and it tends to find routes in which to eliminate them. Now, there is regular routes to eliminate these toxins, but when those have been abused or overused and they're just tired and fatigued, then the body have to find alternative routes. So these alternative routes is going to be painful. They're going to be uncomfortable, That's why we call them discomforts. They're going to be uneasy. That's why we call them diseases. All right, because it's not ease. You're not at ease. You're at a dis-ease. All right, so the problems come when we're not removing toxins via the natural routes, via the organs that were designed to do so. Now they're coming out of abnormal organs or ways. They're coming out through the skin, coming out through the nose, So those not normally way toxins are supposed to be eliminated. Toxins are supposed to be eliminated out through urine, through bowel movement, through breathing, naturally, not in the way that we've been seeing it come out in the form of disease. And this is due to a lot of times, um, like I said, always due to low energy. Low energy. Toxemia is due to low energy. Remember, I told you when your elimination organs cannot free waste because they have no energy, or they've been abused. So, and most time they've been abused because they've been overused. You abuse them with the alcohol, overusing it. Now you excessively urinate. So that wears out the kidneys. So now the kidneys can't do the job of getting rid of other waste materials in the body. Those materials build up and start irritating cells and tissues, causing organic damage to your cells and tissue. And you feel it as in pain, inflammation. And if it's continued for long periods of time, you start having degeneration and you start having really bad chronic issues. Now, this is our theory on disease. It's not the medical mindset of looking for viruses, bacteria, and germs, and other so-called funguses and different things. Some parasite, in other words. We're not looking for the boogeyman. You are the boogeyman, destroying your own body. And that's a hard pill for us to swallow a lot. But once we take responsibility, we'll notice that we can heal real rapidly. But those who don't want to take responsibility for their own sickness are not going to take responsibility for their own healing. But you got to take responsibility. Don't believe that God is doing this to you, or that the devil and his pimps are at war with your body, or anything like that. You're warring with your own self. So you have to take responsibility on educating yourself on proper lifestyle changes and implement them or apply them to your life. Now, that if by us saying that energy is the root cause to all toxic conditions, and toxicity or toxic conditions is the root cause to all diseases, then how do we get rid of our diseases? Well, we got to remove toxin. Well, how do we remove toxin? We get rid of our fatigue. We get rid of our low energy, our innervation, our low vitality, our low functioning power. Once you raise the vitality of the body goes to work of doing housework, cleansing, repairing. But they can't do it if it don't have any energy. And this will become at with our topic, insomnia. A lot of us are not getting it, because it's the only way for us to get energy is to go to sleep. And then when we go, the only way to generate energy is sleep. And once you go to sleep, the next day and you done got all this energy, you conserve it by eating less, eating cleaner foods that doesn't require long periods of digestion, such as fresh fruits and vegetables. You can get a maximum amount of energy and vitamins and minerals and sugar and water from eating fresh, wholesome fruits. And it can be taken into the body less than 30 minutes. Whereas those other common foods that we eat now, hamburgers, hot dogs, and all type of other stuff, requires 10 to 15 to 20 hours digestion to really get nothing from them. or at the most to get a minute amount of vitamins and minerals from it. That's not a good trade-off, in other words. The best trade-off is allowing 30 minutes to get buku energy from fresh fruits and vegetables. To get a minute amount of energy after spending 10 hours of digestion. That's a waste of energy. So we've been squandering away our energy even in our non-conservative manner of our lifestyle. We don't conserve energy in our lifestyle. We squander it away. We throw it away haphazardly. But the thing is, why are we not building it? First of all, some of us squandering away energy that we don't even have, that we're not even generating. And we're not generating it because we're not getting the proper rest. And a lot of us are not getting the proper rest because we are suffering with what, the medical field or the health field or whoever call insomnia. Now, we study a lot of the Amen clinics understanding of this insomnia, and we're going to share a lot of their teachings with you today about it. And in his study, he always point out that sleep plays a major role in the formation of memory, because the Amen Clinics is a brain clinic dealing with neurology and good brain health and stuff of that nature. And a lot of us know individuals, you see some of these people are not thinking properly when they don't get proper sleep. You can look at some people and say, bro, you must be getting enough sleep. They be out of their mind. But, you not only, you got a lot of things that can disrupt our sleep and cause us our issues. We got things such as, we got acute insomnia, or what we call primary insomnia, or you got chronic insomnia, which you call secondary. Would most likely be a secondary one, because it's going to be ongoing, because you got to first find out what the root cause. Secondary meaning that there's something creating your insomnia. It's stopping you from being able to go to sleep. But you got things that, it's usually always going to be a secondary thing, but that's still primary. Like, there's no disease that's interfering with your activity of sleep. That's when you're in the secondary stage. But there's always something. So I don't know why we even call it primary, because there's always something affecting us, unless we're just not going to sleep. But then that's us interfering with it. Even if it's just television, want to sit up and watch this favorite movie every night. And, that's something interfering with sleep. But that's something that can be overcome real rapidly. Whereas we have these chronic health issues that are going to keep interfering with our sleep for long periods of time, then that's more of a issue to have to try to correct. But it can't. It's still, according to natural hygiene, it's doable if you're willing to take the responsibility and do the work of changing your lifestyle and your environment. All right. Now, people may suffer from trouble falling asleep. They might, have frequent, wake up frequently during the night, or even wake up too early and have a trouble going back to sleep. I hear a lot of clients that will come in, they always saying this, this will be on my list to ask them, hey, do you wake up many times throughout the night? Everyone who come to me know that's one of the main questions that I ask them during our consultation. Do you wake up multiple times throughout the night? Or do you wake up and it's hard for you to go back to sleep? When you wake up, do you have a sense of well-being, and do that last as you go, throughout the day? These are questions that, I ask to see if they're suffering from, states of insomnia. And then I try to, if they do answer in a way that we would suggest that they have insomnia, then we'll start looking into the what may be causing them. But we pretty much going to see that as we finish answering our other questions. So I'm going to share some things with you today to actually help you see if you're suffering with insomnia, and some treatment strategies. And I don't like to use the word treatment, but some strategies that will help you, um, deal with the issue that you're going through. Now, you got some people who have underlying problems, such as people who have periods where they do not need more than a few hours of sleep at night combined with increased energy. You don't need much sleep at night. You saying, well, I just need 4 hours, and you know, that could be a bipolar disease. People who have early morning awakenings and morning fatigue with better energy as the day goes on might be suffering from depression. You know, so insomnia is one of the most common complaints in the health field today. That most guys just can't sleep. And when I talk, especially to elders, oh no, I don't sleep that much. I know there's people in middle age now having problems sleeping. If you get up in the middle of the night yourself, you can get on Facebook and see a lot of people there. You can see people on TikTok all night. You can see people on the gram. All on these so-called. Oh well, if you was to notice Netflix and stuff and all these other so-called television programs and Hulu and all this, they get major play in the nighttime. Because a lot of people just can't sleep. The number of adults in America affected by, um, having the inability to get proper rest and sleep at night is weighed in the millions, probably about 100 million strong. That people are suffering from that. If you can even tell, if we were in the pharmaceutical business with all the so-called sleep medicines that's being prescribed, even over-the-counter medications that are being taken, the melatonin, the Ambien, and all these other so-called sleep aids. Now, a lot of people don't know, uh, you know, the difference between their issue and just being like, oh, I don't need much sleep. A lot of us do believe that we don't need much sleep. A lot of us believe that, my mama didn't get much sleep. My daddy didn't get much sleep or whatever like that. I know a lot of people who don't require much sleep. They believe that they just don't require much sleep. There could be an underlying issue behind that, and a lot of your suffering and illnesses may be due to you not needing enough sleep. You might find Dr. Shelton used to always say, a lot of people used to come to him saying that I don't need much sleep and I'd be up and ready. But he realized when he put them to bed, they sleep soundly for a long period of time. It's just they created this jump up and go situation, this habitual not being able to sleep. It's a habit they created in themselves to wake up at a certain time and all that. Military can teach you how to do that with no problem. The chain gang can teach you how to do that with no problem. And a bunch of other so-called the Boy Scouts and all these different um, habit forming organizations will do so. It can show you how to do those type of things. But some of the things that cause, let's look at that some things that may cause, um, you'll say, acute insomnia, like drinking caffeine, eating sugar late in the day, drinking alcohol or smoking, exercising vigorously late in the evening, or staying up very late into the evening as well. Now, all these would disrupt your sleep cycle. Caffeine, it gives you a perk up. It irritates the body. It keeps the body going. That's why people drink coffee. But some people know that coffee don't keep them up no more. They have to keep drinking cups and cups. They have to keep adding it up. But also drinking alcohol or smoking, and just exercising gets the blood flowing more rapidly too. So it can have an effect of keeping you up. Watching television, scary movies, and different things of that nature can very well keep you up too. But some things that create a more chronic issue, see, that's just a movie will keep you up for that one night. But there are, even that exercise, if you're just doing that every so often, it might just only happen the nights that you exercise. But when we come to chronic insomnia, we see that, like medication, many medications, including, asthma medication, um, antihistamines, cough medicine, anticonvulsants, and many others interfere with our ability to sleep. And a lot of that even tells you on the medication, bother, it interrupts sleep. Remember we talked about caffeine, but caffeine don't just come in coffee. It's also in tea, chocolate, and even some of these herbal remedies that we're um, um, taking. All those have the ability to interfere with our ability to sleep. Alcohol and nicotine and marijuana. I know some people might not want me to say that. Although these compounds initially promote sleep, some people say, man, I can't sleep unless I smoke me a jig or smoke me a cigarette or, but then you got some people say, I can't wake up unless I smoke a cigarette. So once I have me a drink, I'm up. Or I got to wind down with a drink, But then they notice that all these compounds initially promote sleep for some people. As they wear off, they have the reverse effect. They require you to go get another and another and another. So they create an addiction that doesn't allow you to go to sleep. Or they do so much damage to the organs that allow for rest that they now don't allow for rest anymore. It's like in natural hygiene, they call it the law of dual effect. Something that once used to give you relief, now creating the problem. The coffee used to give a form of appear to give a form of relief, but now it creates the headache. Now, restless leg syndrome is like a jerking motion of the legs, or like a pedaling motion. And I can drive, the person that's sleeping with you, if somebody's sleeping in the bed, it drive them crazy. They won't be able to sleep for nothing. My wife used to have this thing a long time ago where she would shake her feet, rock her feet until she go to sleep and stuff, like shake. Now to me, and some people it might help them go to sleep too, but the other people it might be a way to keep you up. They're shaking. until we got a mattress that doesn't shake the whole bed. We had an old cheap mattress early, a cheap bed in the beginning of this thing, of this relationship, and you felt everything. But now the mattress we got, I gotta say, it only allow you to feel what you're doing in the bed. They have really got some advancement in those mattresses and bed. Now, pregnancy, PMS, menopause, and premenopause, those terms. During many of these hormonal transition times, a woman's sleep cycle may be disrupted every few minutes. So having these cold sweats and hot sweats and all these different sweats and these different activities, symptoms, or issues that erupt from them going through their crisis that they call menopause or perimenopause or during pregnancy or PMS. They have these, during pregnancy, they might be throwing up. They might have pains or whatever that just disrupts sleep. PMS having to, having to get up and change pad because it's, or change it tampon because it's overflowing. Having the pains that doesn't allow you to go to sleep. My daughter, a long time ago, used to have these pains that would not let her go to sleep at all. She used to be in the bed like the devil had jumped on her back. And she used to be in there just, oh man, just going crazy, like it just was like just destroying her mind. Like, well, what is going on with me? Like she was in so much pain. I could feel the torture that she was going through until she changed her lifestyle and her habits and her eating style. And she hadn't laid in the bed like that since that time. Because, I had talked to her. If you didn't want to feel this anymore, this is what you need to do. Also, like even with menopause and different things like that, where a woman is going through her last and final cleansing to clean up and stuff like that. Those things can be very tormenting. But see, these things can be avoided though. Everything that I'm telling you, according to natural hygiene. Now, this is the Amen Clinic's teachings on this, but even in natural hygiene, these things can be avoided if you properly follow the principles of natural hygiene, where you living a hygienic lifestyle. Because all these issues is the result of disobedience to natural hygiene. You're not properly, living in accordance with nature. So you're having these vigorous symptoms, these vigorous, issues that's developing in your life. Even thyroid condition. Too much thyroid activity can cause people to feel revved up too high. Have that jittery and be up like can't calm down. So when you have these issues, this hyperthyroid issue, then it can be possibly keep you up throughout the night as well, or keep you from having a good sound rest. And we got to still remember here that sleep is the means by gaining energy. The only means by gaining energy. And that energy is used for eliminating toxins from our body, repairing tissues and cells, and helping us do our day-to-day function. We got to have energy to do so, though. And when we're not getting energy and we're still doing our day-to-day functions, then we're going to have to be faltered in another area, which is the healing of our body and the elimination of toxins. Those toxins stay in our body, they do damage. And then if you ain't got no healing going on, the damage is prolific. It's terrible in there. It's like Beirut. Congestive heart failure. This can cause trouble breathing and acid reflux. All those type of situations. Chronic pain. Pain keep a person up. Headaches, leg pain, arthritis, and all type of other so-called irritable, inflamed condition. Even undertreated or untreated psychiatric conditions are brain health. Conditions such as, obsessive compulsive disorder, such as, you might have people that go and check the door and windows every 2 minutes, can't sleep because they're worrying about if somebody's going to break in the house, or worrying about did they lock the door, or worrying about something in the house that they just can't get no rest. Depression, anxiety will disrupt sleep patterns if untreated. I know a lot of people who just could not go to sleep when they are diagnosed with diseases. People who are in jail come out looking rough because they couldn't get no rest. These ones that, not the ones that come from prison, that's all they did was get rest. But the ones that's right there in the county awaiting trial, they don't know what's going on. And they're losing their household, their loved ones. Their girlfriends are going off to be with other people, and all these different things. No one is answering their phone call, and no one is sending them money and stuff like that. They're going to turn gray. They can't sleep or nothing. Wasting away. All because they were smoking weed. All because they were, ran a stop sign. Ain't hurt nobody. All because they got caught with a joint. Ain't hurt nobody. But it's the way of our government. That's what the people want. That's what we want. But we ain't doing nothing about it. But that's a whole nother story. Like dementia patients often sundown rev up at night and wander. They get up a lot. My wife's grandfather, we watch him get up a lot of times, like almost every 15 minutes, going towards the kitchen to go get something to eat, or getting up going to use the bathroom. It was either one of the two, or both of them at the same time. Go use the bathroom, go in there and get something to eat every 15 minutes. Now that will break sleep all day long. Can't get no rest like that. And this all through the night. This ain't just during the daytime. It was really a miracle to get him to stay down for at least an hour or two and get some rest. But we knew some things that would allow such a thing, and that's teaching natural hygiene. We noticed that a lot of the issues were more prevalent when he was on the regular diet. Eating the different food. He'd go get into some food that he didn't supposed to get into, eating a bunch of junk and stuff like that. But when he was on a greater diet, we noticed that it gave more rest, it became more coherent. Gastrointestinal problems will definitely keep you up at night, and having a bunch of diarrhea, all that will keep you up. You're tearing up the toilet all throughout the night. I've had clients tell me a lot about that, and I've experienced it in my past too as well. Couldn't get no rest. I sat there and went to a buffet. I went and ate a bunch of, barbecue and different things, and drunk alcohol and smoke and all type of stuff, and was sitting there on the toilet all night. And I blamed it on the bug. It was a bug. Or I might blame it just on the potato salad. That potato salad was spoiled. It got my stomach turned up. I had nothing to do that. I ate chicken. I ate ribs. I ate pork. I had all this stuff. I had rice and beans and all type of other stuff, along with the potato salad and the macaroni. And I had cake and I had pie and all this other stuff with ice cream on top of that. And to top it off, at the end of it, I ate some oranges and watermelon and cantaloupe. After I done made, ate a smorgasbord of, cooked meats and delicacies and stuff. Then I go and say, oh, I got to eat something healthy. And I go and eat some fruit. And that should have been the first thing I ate. But I ain't going to do nothing but cause a bunch of indigestion, a bunch of gas, bloating, and all type of stuff. So those discomforts come, and they will keep you up. If it's not just pain, a bunch of passing of gas, rumbling, noises, all that stuff, you running back and forth to the bathroom. Even with that, like I said, urinating a lot. People who have high blood sugar, they getting up many times throughout the night, just urinating. And that's keeping them from getting a sound sleep as well. Excessive urination, waking up. Making all them trips to the bathroom. Now, even snoring. Snoring has a big thing on keeping us up as well. Somebody that loud and talking in their sleep and all type of stuff that can wake you up. A lot of us done woke up from out our sleep because we were snoring in school, in class. You know what I mean? So snoring can get you on up and interrupt your sleep. And interrupt sleep of other people. Many times back in the days I used to get popped across the head. You gotta wake up. You making too much noise, but I can't sleep. But all that noise you can put a pillow over yourself. Almost got smothered one time. You can kill me putting that pillow over me, trying to get me to be quiet from snoring. And got me, you about to kill me. But yeah, snoring, what doctors call sleep apnea, which they say are really common in men, can very, they can affect our sleeping behavior drastically. But like I said, natural hygiene would address pretty much everything in here if you just follow natural hygiene. We can learn all this information that we teach and all, but it comes right back to, getting in line with natural hygiene. You don't even have to know none of this stuff. And once you apply natural hygiene to your life, it'll correct these things that even in your ignorance in knowing what it is that's happening in your body. All you need to start doing is breathing fresh air, drinking clean water, staying away from toxic people, keeping the will there, getting proper sleep, getting exposure to sun and stuff like that. Really getting rid of your insomnia, especially the acute one. It just really takes with you changing your habits and practicing good sleep habits. Sometimes practicing a good sleep habit is not good enough for shift workers. Uh, you know, these are people who can't just those ones who can't shift, and go to sleep on demand. They work all night and just can't sleep during the daytime. So these shift and then they switch and they just can't just keep switching like that. It causes a major issue on them. And a lot of them don't realize that their job is what's producing their sickness. It's wearing them out. They might pay you some good money, but that shift workers that can burn you out really rapidly or produce diseases in your body because your body is never gaining the right amount of energy. It's squandering away what little energy it do have to keep up the bad habit. So the body would be tearing down in the process. Those chronic insomnia must, you got to be identified with causing the ongoing insomnia. The acute insomnia can be corrected by just cutting off the television at night. That's a good practice. Not drinking a bunch of water before you go to bed to have you jumping up and going to urinate excessively. Winding down properly, saying some prayers, meditating or something like that. No exercise that's revving you up before bed or anything like that. No dancing with music, no excitement. Calm yourself down. Those simple things can stop, you from, being hard for you to go to sleep at night. But chronic issues might, it's kind of more complex. You have to find out what's causing, or what's the underlying cause that's creating you not to be able to go to sleep. And that's even if it's like depression, anxiety, or some health issue, some psychological stress, some substance abuse, or some medication that you're on that's just keeping you up. Those things must be addressed and removed before you can start going to sleep properly. Some people even claim that thoughts keep them up at night. Sometimes they're anxious and they worry throughout the night or obsess about problems. Worrying about school, worrying about work, worrying about an offense, worrying about a ticket you got, worrying about your kids, or, all these different things can keep you up at night. Anxious about what the future going to bring. It's like saying your thoughts just can't cut off. Some people say they just can't turn off their mind and quit thinking. Nighttime thinkers often benefit from a technique called imagery. Imagery is just where you come up with something else to think about. Imagine you're going on a vacation or something like that, and start that vacation from start to finish. Start off where you packing your bags, and you got a great first class seat on Delta or one of the major airline carriers. See yourself easily going through TSA, and imagine, this is why I call it imagery. Imagine that you slide right on through real quick. You ain't even have to take your shoes off. You pre-check, and you ain't have to slide your belt out or anything like that. You was good. And you walked in, you got on the flight. The flight was smooth. You looked out of the window, clear blue skies, nice fluffy white clouds passing over and through them, and there's no turbulence. Everything was just perfect, smooth ride, and I mean, it was just beautiful. It was pleasant, and you got off the flight, and you there was a limousine waiting on you to take you to your Airbnb or your exotic hotel, resort, or whatever. And there they greeted you, had name up waiting, saying, arriving such and such. And they had flowers, a nice mimosa, well, not a mimosa, but a fruit juice. Let's not use mimosa. But a fruit juice, some fresh squeezed pineapple juice or grape juice or some other guava or something, you know what I mean? Some exotic drink. Just waiting on you, with strawberries and all type of other fruit cut up in it. And, you go to this extravagant room. So you just imagine, you just using your ability to create an image of thoughts that are soothing, that are beautiful. And the next thing you know, you'll drift off to sleep. This is what helped a lot of times when we were young. We were daydreaming, we were dreaming. We was in our thoughts and we drifted off to sleep. It wasn't one of stress, worry, or anything like that. So it'd be ideal to create this type of imagery. Also, we're running out of time here, so I'm gonna speed it up just a little bit here. But melatonin is a hormone made in the brain that helps regulate other hormones and maintains the body's sleep cycle. Melatonin, created in the pineal gland. All right, and it runs on the ability. Well, melatonin is produced in darkness. When we're in darkness, melatonin is being released in the brain. Now, that melatonin is a sleep hormone. When it's released, it puts us to sleep. When it's not released, we're awake. We can't get no rest. We can't go to sleep because it's going to keep us alert and active because we're not being given our dose of melatonin that causes us to go to sleep. Our body produces melatonin, but none is being released. That's the only way you go to sleep is when you have melatonin being released in your brain. That's what tells the brain to shut off and go to sleep. But if no melatonin is being released into the brain, there's no shut off. The brain is going to keep going. It's going to keep going. It's going to keep you up and moving. And the only way that melatonin is produced is, first of all, with a healthy pineal gland, and then with in darkness. When it's light outside, you put up the shades, it wakes you up and it stops the melatonin production in your brain. But when you go in complete darkness, melatonin is being released. But imagine if you're always in darkness. You work in the house in the shaded area. You never go outside into the light. Your house is very dark. You're always under unnatural lights. You work in these big hospitals. You work in all these factories and stuff that's under unnatural light, artificial light, and not under natural light that can stop the production of melatonin. So you groggy all day at work. You groggy all day at while you're in the house. You're sleeping because you're constantly releasing melatonin, and this does damage to your pineal gland because it never gets no rest. So it's constantly releasing and producing melatonin until your body, your pineal gland tend to calcify or degenerate from overuse and abuse because it was ongoing producing melatonin. So it has none to make when you go into darkness. It's nothing there to make. It done been working all day long. So when you go there at nighttime to say, well, I want to go to sleep, sorry, we ain't got enough melatonin to shut the brain down because you done been wasting it away all day long. That's why you've been yawning and all type of other stuff. So the ideal way, we already saying, would be more going into the sun. And this is what we talk about in natural hygiene again. Like I said, everything's going to tie right back to natural hygiene. You don't even have to know none of this. But as you go out and do more sun gazing, sunbathing, that sun stops melatonin production. That's why you notice when people come up out of the sun and go into the house in the dark, they automatically because the melatonin done been stopped while you was outdoors. While you was out there in the sun, out there in that natural light, melatonin is stopped. And once you go into that dark, you out like a light. So steps in getting a good night's sleep naturally. Get stimulants out of your system well before bedtime. Stop the smoking, stop the caffeine and stuff. Don't be doing that up to the bed. Stop it altogether if you can. It'd be ideal. These are only suggestions now. We're not taking your free will to use anything. It's up to you. But this is just a suggestion. I can't force you to do anything. Don't take naps. That's what they say. I say take naps. Take you 30 minutes. I take naps. And I still get adequate sleep. especially if my job is very vigorous. Now, if you don't have no vigorous job and you don't really have a job at all, then you might not so-called need the naps as much. Exercise during the day is very beneficial for insomnia, but do it at least 4 hours before bedtime. Exercising late in, it's a really, vigorous exercise late in the day will tend to energize. You'll be like, woo, I feel great. And you don't want to go to sleep. You hyped up. You ready to run some more. All those things like alcohol, pain medications, and marijuana that disrupt sleep should be abandoned. Also, like we said, plan for your transition time. Shut your body down. But if you have to even use meditation or something like that, don't use your bed for anything other than sexual activity and sleeping. Get away from eating in the bed, reading in the bed, and different things like that, because the body, the brain and body don't know what you're doing. But if you make it known to your body that when I lay in this bed, I want to be having sex, or I want to be sleeping. Hopefully sleeping more than sex. I know people might want to disagree. Do not work, watch TV, read, write, or lie around awake in bed. Move the clock. Clock watching and trying too hard to go to sleep will cause more anxiety and gravity and aggravate your problem. You can even establish a regular sleeping pattern. Make sure your room is comfortable, the temperature, and the lights. If you do end up reading, don't read anything scary or exciting or anything like that, anything that's stimulating. Stay away from sugar, any energy boost or anything like that. Don't be taking no buku energy drinks. Sound therapy can be really nice. Sexual activity releases many natural hormones and release muscle tension and boosts people's sense of well-being. Yeah, they say people with healthy sex lives usually sleep better. So that's one to grow on. And meditation, massage, and warm bath are also very relaxing. And deal with the pain. Look at the underlying issues in your life that could be producing a lot of your health issues. If you're noticing that you're going to the bathroom a lot throughout the night because your sugar is kind of high, deal with the sugar issue, and you'll be able to sleep better. So, best of health and happiness from Savannah Natural Health. We hope that you gain a lot from this show. Every Tuesday, 6 o'clock, we got a health topic for you. Best of health and happiness, and we love you. And share. Best of health.
Like this.